Hey guys, what's up? This is Michael with Strange Shapes, and welcome to the very first video on the channel. Today we're going to be making this glitchy paint wipe effect that goes over text. So let's just jump in, have some fun, and make something weird. Alright guys, so to start we're going to go to New Composition. We're going to call this guy Render. Resolution is going to be 1920 by 1080 just for the sake of the tutorial, but feel free to bump it up to 2K or 4K if you'd prefer. We're going to keep the frame rate at 30 and the duration at 10 seconds long, and all that looks good, so we're going to hit OK. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is come up here to the text tool, click on here. The font that I'm using is Archivo Black. It's a free Google font. I'll link it in the description for you. You're going to click anywhere in the text frame and type in whatever you would like. So I'm going to do shapes because that's my name. Oops. We're going to align the text layer vertically and horizontally. If you don't see the Align tab, you can come up here to Window, make sure it's checked right there. And then once that's done, we're going to click here. We're going to hit Control-Shift-C, or you can come here and hit Pre-Compose. Pre-compose the layer. We're going to call this layer Text. All right. So the text layer selected right there. What we're going to do is come over here to Effects and Presets. Again, like Align, if you don't see that, you can come to Window, make sure it's checked. So what we're going to do is search Mr. for Mr. Mercury. And to add it to the layer, you can either select the layer and double click it, or you can drag Mr. Mercury, or whatever effect you're using, on top of the layer. Either way works. Alright, so then we're going to change some of the values here. We're going to make the X radius 4. The Y radius is actually going to be 299. We're going to make the birth rate 10. The longevity, we're going to bump it up to 3, but we're going to cut the gravity in half, so make it 0.5. And that all looks good. We're going to change the animation to fractal explosive for this one. And we're going to bring the blob depth size down to 0 for now. But we want to animate the blob depth size. So what we're going to do is bring it a little bit forward, maybe about 10 frames. We're going to hit the little stopwatch under blob depth size right there. And then let's see, we're going to move it up to about maybe right here. Make this guy 30, so blob depth size to 30. And boom, you can actually see the text starting to take shape. So if you move it, you can see the text beginning to form. That looks pretty cool already. Alright, if you click the layer and you hit U on your keyboard, it'll show you all of the keyframes. So we're just going to easy ease these guys, and to do that you can either hit F9 on your keyboard, or you can right click, go to Keyframe Assistant, and click Easy Ease, whatever works best for you. So once that's animated, we're going to add another effect. We're going to add a fill layer to make the color change, and you can make this whatever you want. I think what I'm going to do is just make it kind of a yellowish neon green for now. Cool. Looking good. The last thing we're going to do for this layer is we're going to hit P for position on there, and then we're going to alt-click the stopwatch to form an expression. And all you're going to do in this box right here is just type in wiggle, open parentheses 3, 10, oops, close parentheses, and then you can click out of it. And all that this is doing is giving a little more movement to the actual text layer. So see how it kind of shakes now? That's what we want. Alright, awesome. It's coming along. So then from here, we're just going to click the layer. We're going to hit Control D to duplicate the layer. We can rename this one Text 2 just so that we can keep things organized. And in text 2, we're going to change some of these values. So we're going to move the longevity up here to 5, the extra to 10, and let's make this color a little different. Let's do a bright blue. Yeah, that looks good. All right, and then we're going to animate the blob depth size again. So let's bring up the keyframe. Again, click the layer and hit the U key. We can actually kill the animation that's already on there from the duplication because we're going to make a new one. So let's bring this one forward a little bit, maybe about a couple after 1 second, maybe 2 frames after 1 second. Bring it to 0, hit the stopwatch, and then we're going to move it up just a little bit further, maybe to 22 frames, bring that guy to 30. Just so that it doesn't form at the exact same time as the other one. Again, we want to easy ease these keyframes, so we're going to hit F9, or again, you can right click and hit keyframe assistant, easy ease. And then we're also going to change on this guy the animation preset. So let's see, let's bring it back maybe a little about right there. Yeah. Hit the animation keyframe, and we're actually going to start it out as a jet animation. Move it forward a little bit, maybe just a little further, and we're going to change that guy back to fractal explosive. So let's see, we can refresh that. Again, if you just hit U on the layer, it'll now show these keyframes as well for the animation change. And that's just to give it a little more dynamism as it animates in. You can actually play with this more. There are all kinds of different ways that you can animate this. You could start it out, instead of jet, you could do a twirl. It's just different ways to bring it in, but we're gonna keep it on jet for now. All right, that's that layer. You can collapse it back, and then we're actually gonna duplicate text 2, and it comes into text 3 automatically, which is cool. And we're gonna change some of these values now. So we're gonna move the longevity up to 10 seconds for this one. The extra is going to be 3. And let's change this to that neon pink color, just to get a little pop. All right, we're going to hit U. Let's kill both of these just by hitting the stopwatch, because we're going to animate this a different way now. So let's start a little bit later, maybe about halfway to about 5 frames. We're gonna hit blob depth size, bring it back down to 0, and then we're gonna bring it up to about 220, make it 30. Let's easy ease those guys. Again, F9. Yeah, that's looking cool. All right, that's coming along. We're going to animate the animation again. So this time we're going to do it at about maybe right in between here. Click the animation. It can be jet. And then we're going to bring it forward. Let's make this one a little longer, maybe right there, and change that to fractal explosive as well. All right. That's looking pretty cool. Pretty cool. I don't know why it's rendering a little slow, but oh well. Yeah, looking cool, looking cool. All right, guys. So now we're going to make a new adjustment layer, and you can do that by right-clicking here, hitting New, and going down to Adjustment Layer. We're going to label this Noise. And in case you didn't know, to label a layer, you can just select it and then just hit the Enter button and then change it to whatever you'd like. So under Noise, we're going to click the layer. We're going to go back to Effects and Presets. We're going to do Noise, find it here. Again, you can double-click if you have the layer selected, or you can drag. I'm just going to double-click it. I'm just going to add a little bit of noise for the color. Just a little bit. That's all we need. All right, things are looking good. So let's pre-compose these layers. So you can select all of them. You can hit Control-Shift-C. We're going to name this Main. Make sure all the attributes and everything look good. All right. So this is where we're going to mess with the time a little bit. We're going to go back to effects and presets. We're going to type in posterize, and we're going to add posterize time. Now this step is purely optional. I'm just cutting down the frame rate essentially by doing this to make it look a little more kind of animated, hand-drawn, but you can keep it smooth if you'd like. Totally up to you. All right, but so now as you can see, it's a little choppier. Yeah, that's what we want. Cool. All right, and then the last thing we're going to do is we're actually going to reverse this out because this is also optional if you'd like. You can have it form in, but I kind of like it starting and then coming out. So all that you need to do is click on the layer in the timeline. I'm sorry, right click on the layer, go to time, and hit time reverse layer. And that'll reverse the entire layer so that it'll start out already formed and then it'll go backwards. Let's bring it about 5 seconds. Let's move this back. You can just click and drag it in the timeline. Yeah, that's a good spot. Then you can move right here, the work area down so that it's not unnecessarily long. And it'll stop just where you want it to. I'm gonna move it a little bit further out. Oh yeah, that's good, that's good. All right, and now it should be pretty, yeah, look at that. Awesome. The timing seems a little fast on the green layer. So what you can do with that is you can extend this keyframe a little bit if you'd like. Maybe make it a little earlier. Oops. Yeah, that's kind of cool. All right. So now you can do that. And you can mess with the timing as much as you want. You can play with the keyframes, you know, totally up to you. These are just kind of the baseline settings here. Another cool thing you can do, because the text is kind of just, you can't see the colors as much, so what you can do is you can shift the layers a little bit more, just so that you can see them a little bit better. Yeah, that's cool. All right, guys, it's looking pretty good. Another cool thing to point out is this text is entirely dynamic. So if you just double click into the text layer again, go back to the text tool, you can change it to say anything you want. All right, yeah, so I can change it to shred and the entire thing should shift. Just like that. All right, guys, and that's it. Thanks for watching.